He'll sit down with German Chancellor Angela Merkel later this morning before holding talks with leaders from both Denmark and Italy. The president heads back to Washington tonight. Another Fox News alert now. 4 legal scholars will testify before the House Judiciary Committee today in the left's impeachment inquiry. Yesterday, the Intelligence Committee voted along party lines to adopt their report, which claimed President Trump undermined national security.
All right, Jillian, thanks so much. Sanctuary city policies putting a community in danger. Police in New York releasing a twice-deported illegal immigrant who is facing charges of manslaughter and gang assault. This after ICE lodged multiple detainers to hold him, which were ignored. The field office director for ICE's enforcement and removal operations in New York, Thomas Decker, is speaking out about what has happened here. He joins me now this morning. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Let's pull up just some information here about Feliciano Perez Bautista. This is the person we're talking about here, 32 years old, deported twice from this country, a Mexican national, charged now with manslaughter and gang assault, and currently is detained in ICE custody, I guess, thankfully, according to ICE, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was an individual that tried to enter the country twice in 2014,
Yeah.
Arrested both times and removed back, and came back and snuck back into the United States. And then in July 2019, he was arrested for a gang assault. A couple days later, the person that they attacked passed away, succumbed to the injuries that he inflicted upon him, and they also then charged him with manslaughter.
It becomes manslaughter. Now, I mean, tell us, I mean, we see this problem over and over again, where you're seeing people that are dangerous, that are not being handed over from police to ICE, which is what they want. And it's becoming a growing problem. What should we do in this situation?
Well, and that's the problem. We had this in Westchester County. We had detainers placed with Yonkers Police Department, also Westchester County Jail for the subject. But Westchester County, the administration there, the politicians there, what they passed a year and a half ago was the Immigrant Protection Act.
Sure.
Which basically then put a stop to releasing and honoring ICE detainers.
ICE detainers. Now, you know, their side of it, what they would argue is that, you know, in sanctuary cities, you know, when you don't cooperate with ICE, you got a better chance at the, I guess, otherwise law-abiding members of the community that happen to be illegal immigrants. So people that came in illegally, committed that crime, but otherwise are decent citizens of society. They don't like to work with a police department that might send them to ICE. They're worried about that. That is the argument from the left. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's a bad argument. I mean, because what happens is that you have individuals, subjects who've been arrested by the police, and they should be removed from the country,
right,
being released back into the community. So what that tells the other immigrant or the citizens of the community is that all of a sudden, if you go and be a witness, you know, if you're a victim, going to the police, that person's going to be released right back into the community.
What about the argument that this is the way all citizens are treated? You know, if you're an American citizen, you commit a crime, you can be bonded out and you wait for trial, you know, just the same way.
Well, yes, and if they had additional detainers against them, they would be released to that open detainer that was pending.
Okay.
And so what they're doing here is just ignoring our detainer.
Yeah.
By using an Immigrant Protection Act, saying that they can't meet it because of judicial warrant, which judicial judges can't issue because it's a civil violation.
Does this create a greater problem with crime among the illegal immigrant community? Do they feel emboldened by this when they're in a sanctuary city? Does the criminal element feel more comfortable to do what it is that they do?
Oh, I think,
in your opinion?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the criminal element. I mean, in fact, if you were coming into the United States and you were a criminal coming here illegally, you would go to a sanctuary city.
Of course. I mean, that'd be the first place you would go. I would think would be San Francisco, New York, something like that.
Yes. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, last year, I mean, in fact, for New York Police Department, the administration of the New York Police Department, because we have a great relationship with the police officers, with the Department of Correction officers, that hasn't stopped. But with the administration of NYPD, the politicians, I mean, you're looking at that they boasted releasing and not honoring 2,916 individuals that we had detainers on.
Right.
If you think about that, that's 56 people a week that they released, that who they arrested, charged, processed, and booked into custody.
Right.
which is up from the previous year and 183% higher than 2 years before.
Got to read just for their part the Yonkers Police Department here, which you could argue is probably hamstrung by the local politicians in that county. Perez Bautista, the guy we're talking about, was in Yonkers police custody from the time of his arrest on the 11th to the time of his arraignment on the 12th. Subsequent to his arraignment, the court and corrections has jurisdiction over his physical custody. So they're basically just saying exactly what the situation is. Thomas, thank you so much for coming on this
Thank you
morning.
very much.
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
thank you, sir.
for the opportunity.
All right. All right, Jillian, back to you.
All right, sounds good. A Fox News alert now. A desperate search for a missing baby after her mother is found dead. Police in Connecticut say 1-year-old Vanessa Morales may be in danger. Her mother's death is being investigated as a homicide, and investigators say there is evidence of forced entry into the home. There are no suspects so far. The girl's father does not live at the home. He is cooperating with police. Now to this story, social media slamming teens for turning a near tragedy into a viral moment. You might not believe this. The girl's posting a video set to music after a rollover crash in Pennsylvania.
What? Oh my God. Stupid boy think that I need him. I go cold like changing seasons.
I mean, you see their windshield all shattered there in that video. The girl who posted it says they made the video as a way to cope with the accident. Neither of them seriously hurt, but in a second video, the girls laugh and mock the crash, writing, quote, "Me and Marissa flipping over twice and the police thinking we died." Now to this story. Smile for the camera. The Department of Homeland Security may soon require all travelers to be photographed while entering and leaving the U.S. That includes American citizens. It's part of an identification system that uses facial recognition technology that is already being tested at several airports across the country. The proposed rule could be in place as early as this summer.
All right, other news now. Kamala Harris suspending her campaign for president, but continuing to go after the current president on Twitter.
Carly Shimkus with Fox News Headlines 24/7, Sirius XM 115, here with Washington's reaction to the senator's send-off. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. So the biggest shock in the Democratic race for the White House took place yesterday, but what happened next surprised no one. President Trump taking to Twitter, writing, "Too bad, we will miss you, Kamala." To that, Senator Harris responded saying, "Don't worry, Mr. President, I'll see you at your trial." Meantime, the official Trump War Room Twitter account posted a congratulatory message to Tulsi Gabbard, given the number of times the two candidates have gone head-to-head. Now, Gabbard, for her part, took the high road on Twitter, writing, "Sending my best wishes to Kamala Harris, her family and supporters who have campaigned so hard. While we disagree on some issues, we agree on others, and I respect her sincere desire to serve the American people. I look forward to working together on the challenges we face as a nation." Harris would have had to raise $5 million in 2 weeks to stay in the race, a goal she said was impossible.
So I guess this really shouldn't be a surprise, but Melania's beautiful Christmas decorations are bashed online again.
That is right. So she unveiled the White House Christmas decorations on Sunday, and it didn't take long for the media to criticize them. The Daily Beast writing, "Melania Trump's joyless Christmas decorations are back to haunt your nightmares," and a Washington Post fashion critic also saying Melania Trump's Christmas decorations are lovely, but that coat looks ridiculous, referring to the coat she was wearing in the reveal video. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham responded, saying it has become an annual holiday tradition for the media to attack all that the First Lady does. If this was a Democratic administration, I suspect Mrs. Trump and her work would be featured positively in every mainstream news outlet. Some people on social media talking about all the nastiness. Michelle says it's a magical, beautiful Christmas wonderland. I love it. The media should stop bullying Melania. Cliff on Twitter also chiming in, saying, "And there was nothing that Michelle put on that wasn't gorgeous to the Washington media elite." Double
is what makes this tree look stunningly realistic. Make this tree yours. We're keeping the sale bells ringing for cyber savings up to 50% at balsamhill.com.
Eve will know it was me.
Why don't you show me your classroom?
Did she talk about me?
She's in here.
I hear you're quite an animal.
Look who's talking.
They say you're the bad guy.
Is that what they say?
Who are you, Doc?
You don't know me.
You're the woman that brought us together.
Something's coming for me.
We'll be right here, by your side.